The following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. Broadcasting from the campus of Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is on the air. Your chance to hear from Liberty Women's Basketball head coach Carey comes your way on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show is also brought to you by Carter Bank, Life Lived Full, Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Freedom Heating and Air, serving those who serve us. Carl Miller Realty, caring, competent, trusted advisors. Lynchburg Nissan, nobody beats our prices, nobody. Sentry Exteriors, experience and quality you can trust. Schedule a free estimate at sentryexteriors.com. And by Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow.
The Hodges with 5 at the top of the arc. She dumps it inside to Smuda. Smuda scoops to the hoop and scores. Beautifully run offense by the Lady Flames.
Now let's talk Liberty Flames women's basketball. Here's your host, the voice of the Lady Flames, Jamie Hall.
Welcome into this week's Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show, a special NCAA tournament edition. The Lady Flames are going to be playing Kentucky on Friday just after noon, and we've got two very special guests on the show. We'll talk to Coach Carey Green a little bit later on as well, but right now we've got Katie Mattera and Bella Smuda, and you guys have a bond, I'm sure, as player and post coach. That's going to be there anyway. Now, the bond could be in some programs a negative one. Like I hated my post coach because she
would never say that.
Ran me into the ground. But I think this one is a little bit different. And I want to start off after the Conference USA Championship game. Bella, you were interviewed, and from where I was sitting, I couldn't hear all of it, but I could hear a little bit of it. And enough that I could tell you were very emotional, which made me very emotional. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure, Katie, if you could hear as well as I could, you could probably hear better. You were probably emotional. It was an emotional moment. Before we get into the details of what you said and how there's a very cool connection between the two of you, what was it like when that final horn sounded and you guys had won that championship?
It was awesome. It was such a surreal moment because this is something we've been talking about all year, and it's just something that when it finally because I feel like the whole game we did have, well, not the whole game, but there was that fourth quarter we had the lead and we were just trying to keep that lead, and then when the buzzer finally went off, it was just a rush of emotion and so exciting. Everyone was so excited, and it just showed that our hard work really paid off.
Katie, would you say that with the history of this program and all the different championships, and as we look on the wall, there's a photo of the 2012 championship, and you go out in the hallway, and there's tons of others. You were a part of 4, and there was 10 in a row, and I think, 17 total before this year as far as NCAA tournament appearances. Was this a little bit of, I hate to say this word, but a relief because of how long it has been relative to all the success the program had for about 22 years?
I know, and we all know, nothing is easy. Every single team that we play is competitive. They have their athletes. There's number one teams and there's, the bottom of the barrel teams, but those bottom of the barrel teams could be the top of the tier teams in our conference. So there's not one team that we went in, not one conference game that we went in knowing that we were going to come out with a pretty good win today. Every single game was a battle, and I'm just really proud of these girls for having a positive mindset, a strong mindset, being mentally tough. I know there's some games that I think I walked away. I'm like, this game is going to prepare us for the championship. Mm-hmm. And I do. I think every single one of the games that we played in this year prepared us for the championship, just to get us to be where we were mentally, to prepare us mentally, physically, and to get that win.
And I didn't say that to be negative at all, but there's an internal pressure in this program. And for the players that are on this year's team, they obviously, you guys wanted to win a championship before your careers were over, especially the seniors that have been here 4 or 5 years. Yeah. But the coaching staff that has been around the program, and everybody on that coaching staff, Katie, you've been here as a coach the least amount of time, but you go back even further than the current other assistant coaches as far as being a player before you came back as a coach. And there's been nothing but winning. And that's not to say that in the 7 years of the drought since the championship that the program didn't win, because it was still a very successful program, great seasons, 20-win seasons. You know, it was still a ton of success, but just not quite able to get over that little bit of a hump. And even the fans kind of looked at it. It was just an expectation and unfair. But every year, you just kind of, okay, well, we're going to get another ring, and we're going to go to another NCAA tournament, and maybe every 5 years we'll have a little bit of a rough season, and we'll go to the WNIT, but then we'll jump back on the NCAA wagon next year too. Right. So that's probably an unfair expectation, because it's hard to win championships.
It's very hard. It's very hard, and I give the credit to these leaders. Bella, one of them. You know, when it's this hard to win a championship, and it takes this much effort and time, commitment to win this championship, you have to have strong leaders like Bella and Emily and Emma and Jordan Hodges. And we have such strong leaders on this team that didn't take no for an answer for a better, I don't know what else to say, take no for an answer, but holding them accountable, not saying that that's not good enough. We need to practice harder. We need to do more. We need to have a different mindset. We need to trust Coach Green more than what we are, you know, and when they never let any of the expectations fall. Whenever something was starting to go south, and the trusting the process started to go south, they said, nope. And they said, we're not doing that. Coach Green knows what he's doing. We trust him. We trust the coaching staff. We trust each other. And they picked us right back up, and we carried on. And so I think a lot of that goes to Bella and her leadership of the team.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Bella, let's jump back to that moment after the game. The microphone, for one, you just about ripped the microphone out of the poor woman's hands. Yeah, just like whenever she asked you the question, you just, you know, like you were ready. It's like you had waited your whole life to answer that question. But can you kind of retell a little bit of what you said in that moment, if you can remember most of it?
Yeah, I kind of, well, first of all, like we gave all the glory to Jesus, because this is something like, you know, as at Liberty, you know, that's kind of like our motto. We want to give glory to God, and that's kind of like what we've wanted to do this whole time. And so that was one thing I said. What else did I even say? And then I talked about, like how, you know, it was like, even like what Coach Katie was saying, it is hard to win a championship. And like we've lost, like while I've been here, I've lost in 3 different championships. And I kind of talked about how like this year I really wanted to come and win a championship with this group of girls for my last year. And I just was like saying how proud I was of all the girls and everything. And it was just emotional, and it was so cool. But yeah, you are right that I was like, okay, when we win the championship, whoever goes on the mic has to talk about why not Liberty and like all that. So yeah.
20 years ago, Jimmy Dykes had no idea what he was going to start by asking you why Liberty. But that's what this all goes back to, is Katie, when the team went to the Sweet 16 and Jimmy was the sideline reporter, and he asked you that question. So go back 20 years. What was going through your mind when he asked you that question after you guys had won the second game and were going to be going to play LSU in the Sweet 16?
First and foremost, I can't believe it's been 20 years, because I just remember it like it was just yesterday. And when Bella's going to soon find this out, but when you do something that special with your teammates, it's a bond that will never be broken. And we still talk about it with my teammates, about the memories that we've made. and the fun stories that we have, and telling your kids about it is it's something that you never take for granted. I mean, it's pretty special. But putting myself in that spot, again, when he asked why Liberty, and we had just defeated and had this huge upset, and we're celebrating with our team, and we're hugging and we're crying, and we're just so emotional and just thankful that we got to make this special memory together. And then he asks, Katie, you could have gone anywhere in the country. Why did you choose Liberty? I'm literally looking at all my teammates and how much I love them and how much I respect them and the memory that we just made together. And I thought, why not Liberty? Yeah. I wouldn't want to be anywhere than right now with these girls. And what Bella's talking about, like, she didn't want to win a championship with another team. She wanted to win a championship with these girls. And so she gets it. It's like, why would I want to do this with anybody else? Why not Liberty? Like, look at this. Look at these girls. Look at the memory that we just made. Look at the lasting friendships that are going to be here for the rest of my life. And why would I want to do this anywhere else? That's kind of what I was thinking.
And that actually leads to a good question, Bella, because, and this is no knock on others that have made other decisions, and whether it be here or whether it be any place in the country. I mean, there are tons of players that are going to end up at 4 different schools in 4 years, and they've got their reasons for why they did that. But there's even some examples of playing 4 years and using that 5th COVID year somewhere else. So, not trying to get into like the details of it, but when you were going through that thought process, what led you back to Liberty?
Yeah. So I think that, like, after last year, like, there was some, I don't want to say pressure, but, like, you know, you hear, there's people who talk, they're like, oh, you hit in the transfer portal, blah, 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 blah. Like, people kind of are, like, curious. And, like, it was something I was like, maybe, like, not, I was like, oh, maybe, like, maybe I would. But then as I thought about it, I was like, I don't want to go to another school. I didn't work. Like, this was like it wasn't like just this year we won this championship. Like, we, like, had to work for it the last few years to, like, get to this point. And I think if I say I would have gone somewhere else, and, like, even say I would have won a championship somewhere else, I would not have felt like I earned that. Like, I felt like I earned this. Like, and not even just, like, but all these girls, like, everyone who was a part of this program earned that championship. Where I think I would have felt like I was, like, taking off of someone else's work from going someone else. And then also too, just, like, even, like, with this coaching staff and these girls, like, they've poured so much into me that I couldn't just be like, all right, thanks, peace out. Like, you know? And so, yeah. And I also just love this, like, I really do love this school. And I love, like, just outside of even basketball, like, I just love, like, the atmosphere, and there's just so much. And also another thing, like, I just love how even, like, Coach Green, I know how he utilizes, like, his players, and, like, you don't always know what you're getting into going somewhere else, you know? It's like, it's such a, like, you never know. And plus I just love it. I love it here, like I said, and I love these people, and I'm just grateful that I was able to stay here and win it, and we all earned it, and it was amazing.
And there's girls over the course of the last couple of years. We was trying to do the math. I think with the COVID years where you can get a 5th year, there were 2 graduating classes that didn't get to win a championship. Now those 4-year or 5-year classes still won a ton of basketball games, but they just never got a championship. So you guys kind of won this one for them as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I even said to some of, because some of the, like, my old teammates texted me and were like, oh, I'm so happy. Like, I'm so, like some of them were like, you made me cry, like, all this stuff. But I'm like, you guys earned this just as much. Like, you know, like, we wouldn't be here without, like, even, like, the Audrey Clarks, the Jordan Peters, the, you know, Maya Berkmans. Like, we would not be here without some of these girls. Like, even though maybe they didn't get a ring, but, like, they put in the work just as much to get this. So, yeah.
Katie, you, after playing and going and playing professionally for a while and coaching elsewhere. You came back to Liberty. So there's just something about this place that brings
Gets
everybody
every
back or
Lynchburg,
keeps
Virginia.
everybody here. And I don't think it's the tea room that's doing it. I don't think it's Peaksview Park that's bringing everybody back. So what is it that keeps everybody here and brings them back?
It's the people. We say it all the time. It's the people. It's the people that make up Liberty. It's the Christ-centered love for the Lord and everything that they do and say that brings people back. And it's our leadership. Above Coach Green, it's Ian's leadership. It's his support. It's his encouragement. It's President Costin's leadership and his support. I know I'm biased, but you can't find anywhere better than Liberty. And when you walk on campus, you just know it's different. You just feel the sense of this place is special. And it's just because people want to be here. They choose to work here. They don't, we have athletes that, like Bella, she chooses to be here. She could have gone anywhere, but she chose to be here. And when you're surrounded by people that choose to be here and they don't have to be here, I think that's a special thing. And I can't believe that the Lord brought me back so many years later. As a little junior, senior in high school, when I decided to come to Liberty, I didn't think I would be coaching here this many years later. But oh man, like the Lord knows exactly what the plans that he has for you. And he knew that this was going to be bigger than just signing a dotted line to play basketball for 4 years, that Coach Green was going to be a pivotal person in my life, and someone that I could call upon day in and day out, even when I wasn't around. And Kelly Deo, my post coach, still being able to talk to her, and Heather Stevens and Coach Carroll, just saw him. Like there's just so many different people that just poured into my life while I was here, and just so thankful that I have the opportunity to still be here and to still, have those people in my life.
Bella, what's it like to play under Coach Green? Like how would you describe it if a recruit came on campus tomorrow and they said, "All right, give me the inside scoop"?
Yeah. I mean, he's a great man of God, number one, and I think he's always gonna, give you like there's things that he said, like he has these little phrases that he loves to repeat. He definitely read somewhere probably years ago that like repetition is so important when coaching, because he loves to say like these little phrases that just kind of like they're very, like they're good phrases, but you hear them like 17 times a day. But there's like even verses that I'll like read. Like I'll be reading my Bible and there's a verse that Coach Green said like 1,000,000 times, and I'm like, oh, that's what Coach Green said 1,000,000 times, and like I'll remember that forever. Like or even like just little like phrases like no stargazing. Like I won't ever be able to go snow. Someone's like I was joking with one of the girls. I was like, one day someone's gonna be like, "Hey, you want to go stargaze?" I'm like, "No." And so like have like PTSD because I can't go no stargazing.
So what's the context?
So explain. Yeah, sorry. Basically, if the ball, like if someone shoots the ball and you don't like go crash the boards and you're just watching the ball like this, but you don't make any effort to box anyone out or go get the rebound, that's stargazing, and that is not allowed here at Liberty.
He will call you out in film.
Yeah, so anyways.
It is kind of funny. It is kind of funny when he calls them out and like has a clip of people stargazing, and we're like, yeah, everybody is literally looking up at the ceiling. Everyone is literally looking up at the ceiling.
Yeah, literally. And so, but if I had to, sorry, I don't even know if that answers the question, but like, I think with like, playing for Coach Green, he's a man of God, and he has so many like good wisdom things that like will stick with you for like not even just like with basketball, but just for life. Like, yeah, I've really, I mean, clearly I've enjoyed my time being coached by him. I'm here 5 years, and like I said, I love Liberty. Why not Liberty?
Why not Liberty?
Put it on a T-shirt somewhere. Let's bring it back.
That's right. What's it like to work in this program?
Yeah, definitely the leadership. You couldn't work for a better guy. He cares about not only myself, he cares about my family. He cares about my boys. He asks about my dad. My mom passed away about a little over a year ago, and we had a recruit that weekend. And who flies into Grand Rapids, Michigan to be there with me is Coach Green. Just to give me a hug. He hugged me, I think, 14 times, 15 times with everybody on the staff and all the team. Hugs my dad and gets on a plane and comes back home. No other coach would do that for me. So just like I said, how he has just poured into my life. I would never want to do this with anybody else but Coach Green. And after the championship, I hugged him and we're both crying. And I said, I would never want to do this with anybody but you. I love you to death. And he said, I love you too, Kate. And it was just a special moment. Like he is like what Belle said, he is a man of God, and he puts God first, and you can tell that in everything that he does and how he runs his program. He loves these girls, and I chose to play for him because he cared about me as a person, not a stat line. Yeah. And to this day, that's true. Whenever recruits come in, I'm like, he's going to care about you as a person, not just as a stat line. If you don't do a single thing, you're going to hear about it in film. Yeah. But at the end of the day, he's going to say, was everything okay? Is everything okay in your life? What's going on are you all right? Because you usually produce more than that. Like he wants to know the backstory behind stuff before he looks at a stat line. So it's just been fun to do this with him.
Well, before we all start crying, we need
sorry.
Tell me something funny, because I know, Bella, you've got your own nickname. Is that just because he was looking for one syllable?
Yeah, I don't know. The Belle?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't say it like that.
He said Bale? Like, it's almost like Bale. Like, Bail.
It's just his thick accent.
Yeah, he just, I don't know. Just kind of, because he doesn't really call me Bella ever, actually.
Ever. And he never calls me Katie. It's always Kate.
Yeah, so it's one syllable, but then in Southern language, one syllable can end up being like 3 or 4 syllables. Like, I don't know that Coach Green says this, but if you go right deep down in the South, the word war becomes wower. Like there's like different words that end up having like, what? I didn't realize that was a three syllable word. And but so even Bail ends up being more than one syllable. So yeah. Who does the best Carey Green impression on the team?
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know if,
I feel like a lot of people try.
Yeah, we do all try, but I don't know if there's one person that really stands out as the best. But I feel like if people, there was a while there though when they'd be like, "Oh, impersonate Coach Green," and they would just say Bale, and I'm like, that just shows that my name is being said a lot.
But that could be good or bad.
It is. Yeah, it's good and bad, I guess. But that was funny. They're like, all I hear all practice long, Bale, and I'm like, oh. But hey, it got me to this point, so it's good.
That's right. Does anybody else have nicknames?
He can't. Okay, because of his accent, I feel like he can't really say peen that well.
Right.
Because.
Is there like a G in there?
No, he'll say like pain. Like he just like, and so he just calls her P. Like
we all just call her P now.
P. Smart. Like, and I'm trying to think if anyone else has any. He never calls Emma, he calls her Red.
Yeah, which is crazy because we all call her Red. And then when he started calling her Red, I'm like, oh, he's calling her Red.
Yeah, he's like, Red.
Did you feel like it's like, oh, the head coach is calling her Red, it's not cool anymore? Like, what was the thought process?
I guess it's just her name, it's just Red.
It's just funny to hear it come out of his mouth sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any other nicknames.
That's a fair point, though, because if you like say a youth group, everybody in youth group has a nickname.
He sometimes called us Iffy.
I think he talks he's trying to get it out so fast. He's like in practice he's trying to say names and call out names and the teams.
So many of us. I understand. Like I think because sometimes he'll call us the wrong name, but it's like when your mom will call you the wrong name.
I mean, I call Emma Stout. See, I just did it. Emma Stout. I call her Emma Stout. Emmy Stout. Emma Stout.
My mom will do that. She'll be like, she'll look at me and she's like, Joe, Ari, like, it's just like, you have all these, there's a lot of us, so I
Yeah.
understand. It makes sense.
Well, my sister's name was Megan, and so my mom, same thing. She would get like through the first syllable of Megan and realize that she was yelling at me, and so
Yeah.
I would end up becoming like McJamie. I was like, oh, am I a new sandwich at McDonald's? Like, what's that all about? So yeah, I can definitely relate to you guys. Okay, so practices are serious, but you guys do seem to have a pretty good time even during. So it seems like everybody enjoys practices.
Yeah, like I feel like obviously we go in, we work hard, like, but there's also like, we have fun together. Like it's competitive and like I think that we go in, we do our work, and then we have fun. And then even like film before is fun sometimes. I know that sounds, but like sometimes it's funny watching film because if we're watching, I feel like especially as Coach Green gets older, I feel like he gets a little, he's been making more jokes as of late. Yeah. So like I feel like before film was like, well, I don't know, just as of late he's been making more jokes in film. And so like someone will make a mistake and he'll be like, wait, what's going on over there? Like, it's just like, it's funny. So then you can't be that upset because it's like he's kind of picking fun of you for like making a mistake. And so it's like, we try to make it fun and everything, but yeah.
Coach Green is a funny guy.
He is.
He's got some wit to him and some quick one-liners that you don't realize are going to come out. And then he's just like, that was hilarious.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't even think he sometimes realizes that he's being funny, and we're like that was so funny, and yeah, he's the best.
Over the weekend, after you guys won, and different videos of different things, they had the great like recap video.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And but there's other like funny things that happen. Amber puts together a lot of stuff too, but of the things that I've posted this year, I want to say this year, the two things that had the most response. One, I will not allow Coach Katie to respond to because I know she's going to have to like go the company line and say we do not approve of what Avery Mills did when she took the shot. Seth Curry looked at the bench and the shot went in. We can't approve that, but it did get a lot of traction on social media. A lot of people liked it.
We can approve it. I think it's fine. It's all good in basketball.
As long as the shot goes in, right?
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Yeah. That's right.
But the other one that probably got even more, like 15, maybe 20,000 views now, was the bus ride to the airport when you guys were singing the praise song and I don't know, it was hard to tell. It was so dark but who all was singing, who all was holding the lights up. But it seemed like everybody was involved, and that just kind of goes to show this. It's more than just about winning on the basketball court.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really been a focus like this year is like we've really done a lot of things to like put God at the center. Like we do Bible studies every week. And that honestly, shout out to like Erin. She's our athletic shepherd this year. Like she's done such a good job at like pouring into us and making sure like that kind of stuff is a priority. Like even on the road, she held like a worship night that we did in the hotel. And we just like sat and like listened to worship music and just were worshiping. So like, yeah, that kind of thing is like, it's a part of our culture, honestly, like this year, especially, like it's just who we are. And, yeah, like I feel like something like that is like, I'm glad you got to like capture it, but it's like something that I feel like we'll do that in practice too. Like just put worship music on. It's just kind of like our identity. So yeah, it's been a really, really special group and it's just been such a blessing. It really has.
Well, the last thing I got to ask you about position groups. I think if you talk to, say, the track team, they'll say, "Oh man, those distance runners, they're crazy. You know, they're on another planet. They're out there running 5 miles like they enjoy doing it. No one else, everybody else hates the workout. Whatever. You go to football team, there's probably the kickers and the punters might be the group that you go, okay, they're out there. They're in another world. How about post players? How would you guys describe the post player group?"
We're normal.
Normal.
We're the normal ones.
The way you said that.
We're grounded.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I feel like, I don't know. We're the fun of the team.
She said it, not me.
We're the fun of the team.
It does seem like you guys are having more fun on that end of the court.
Does it really?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, good. Yeah, we're having a good time.
It doesn't hurt though that you have Caroline in the mix because
Yeah.
I don't know that you can be in a room with Caroline and
not have fun. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, of course, she's been even injured. She's still over in the corner with.
Yeah, doing her workouts like, let's go, guys.
So
Yeah,
there's no you don't have to be a little bit psycho to want to go down and get beat to death for 40
Ask
minutes
Liz
a
and
game.
Efi that. Ask Liz and
Yeah,
Efi. That would be.
thoughts are on
Yeah,
us.
I think Liz and Efi would probably think that we were the crazy ones.
Yeah, and Peen too.
And Peen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is this?
Because they don't.
They don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke in the paint.
Okay.
They don't like to. We'll be like doing our post stuff over there. We're like, you guys want to come over here and get some post work in? They're like, no. They want to stay over there and shoot. So.
That's the new age of basketball. I mean, if you go back to your days, the 4 was pretty much just like a little tinier 5, but it was as I think about Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley was a post player, but he was a 4 because he was playing with Hakeem Olajuwon, who was the 5.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the 4. Look at some schools in our league, or go back to Florida Gulf Coast. The 4 was just another guard, and so many teams, the 4 is just another guard now. And but you guys are kind of somewhere in between. It's sort of a hybrid.
You look at JB, Jordan Bailey. She was our 4, and she could hold her own on the block. Efi is a 4, but she holds her own on the block. Even Liz, she's a 4, but she can hold her own. And defensively, she can get physical. She can get scrappy. She can take a hit. So I think it's.
I think Liberty believes in the true 4. Maybe other schools are leaning away from it, but I would say Liberty. Yeah. They believe in the true 4.
I think so. I think
You're just
they
still convincing Peen maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Peen. I think she's coming around to it, though.
Yeah.
She's coming around. But no, I think Liz and Efi definitely. And we even say Jordan Hodges, you got a big body. Jordan Hodges had 7 rebounds? 8 rebounds in the championship. I'm like, she's a big body. Jordan Hodges is a big body.
Yeah.
So, that could be depending on under these circumstances.
Rebounding, big
I
body.
understand what you're saying.
And we call her.
You could just come up to her on a regular day and just be like, "You're a big body." That's crazy. But in basketball terms,
when she gets 8 rebounds, and she gets in there, she's a big body like Belle. Exactly. Belle's a big body.
Exactly.
It's like there's a lot of times after a game that I come up and go, "Wow, you were a monster tonight," and you mean that as a compliment, but then I kind of go, well, that in the wrong setting, you're walking through an airport or something like that, and there's an old lady that walks by and goes, "Did he just call her a monster?" Oh wow, you're such a beast. Those phrases that in basketball terms,
it's different.
That are terms of endearment, but in the rest of the world, they just don't. They don't
get
understand.
it. They don't get it. Jordan Hodges likes to be called a big body.
Yeah.
She loves it.
She's good with
She
it.
maybe one of the best rebounding point guards that's 5 whatever she is in the country.
Yeah, she's pretty good. She gets in there.
She does. She sneaks in there.
She's
no
sneaky.
one thinks she's gonna come in there, but then she does.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Favorite moment of this season? Favorite moment of your career? And I think I pretty much know what both of them are going to be. So we might have to say, other than the championship and cutting down the nets, but what's something that is just going to stick in your mind? And now, Katie, you can answer that same question.
Okay, wait, let me think. Because there's a lot of really good moments from this year.
What was the question?
Just the moments that you're going to remember, I guess, from this season or even from your career.
Yeah. I think, there's just so many. I feel like it's so hard to pick one. This year, there's been so many great moments. Just even this, it even starts from the summer. We were being here in the summer and just I know it sounds silly, but even the small moments you don't think are going to stick out, are the ones that stick out the most. Going to the pool this summer with our team, we would have a cookout at the pool, those type of things that started even just our culture. We were literally teaching some of the girls who didn't know how to swim at the pool, those type of things, which seem silly and they're not even really basketball related, but it's just those teammate moments that are so special. And I have so many other ones that are like that are just maybe it wasn't this game winning shot or whatever, but it was just these tiny little moments that create this whole story. But of my career, like if I had to say like basketball-wise, I thought beating Virginia Tech here was so fun. I think that was a really good moment. By like
You're going to have another chance to beat Kenny Brooks.
Yeah. Hey, and then that'll be another great moment that I'll talk about. So
Yeah, you still have a chance to basically surpass any of these other memories that you're talking about right now if you were to make a run, and you've got a lady right next to you that can tell you the formula for going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, just tell me all your secrets.
I'll tell you all my secrets.
We'll talk about it off camera.
Yeah. Well, without giving X's and O's away, what was the secret to going to the Sweet 16?
It's a secret. She can't tell you.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Just play well. Listen to Coach Green.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have a non-standard factory line that? Because it's not easy, you know. It's very. It would be easy to get to the NCAA tournament and be happy with that, especially after 4 tries of not making it. Then you get in, and it would be easy to just kind of be complacent and go, well, you know, we've accomplished our main goal. Yeah. It's just, we'll just enjoy the moment. But if you want to win in that moment, you've got to kind of focus on something else.
Yeah.
I was going to tell them this at some point, but I truly believe this team reminds me so much of the Sweet 16 team. We have starters. We have a starting 5, but then anybody off the bench could very easily step in and start. We don't really have a starting 5. On paper we do because you have to put 5 in the book, but any of our bench players could very easily start, and that reminds me a lot of our Sweet 16 team. There was no superstar. There was there's no one person that you knew was going to score the most points that game. Any of us could be the person at the end of the game, and you're looking at the stat line, you're like, wow, she had a really good game. Any of us could have been like that. And I know our mentality was different that year. We wanted more. We held each other accountable to another level. We trust each other. Their motto of one body. We didn't have mottos back then, but I feel like if we did, it would be that because we trust each other so well. No matter if you were a freshman coming off the bench or a freshman starting in Allie Fasnacht, or a senior coming off the bench. Like, we all had our role, and we all had our lane that we stayed in, and we expected that lane to be filled. If it wasn't filled, he said, hey, you gotta fill your lane a little bit more. We're depending on you to do a little bit more than what you're doing. And you're like, yep, you're right. And we just expected that. And I think that's literally how we got there. How we defeated to get to the Sweet 16, because we knew each other and what each person brought to the team, what each person's strengths were, what each person's weaknesses were. So we were able to just work together and be a strong unit, be one body, and get to the Sweet 16. There was no magic formula. We just trusted each other.
Yeah.
I'm going to end with this, Bella. If you could go back in time and tell freshman you that was walking on Liberty's campus some advice. Yeah. Now that you've accomplished your goal, winning a championship degree, probably a couple degrees, like you've done everything academically, you've done everything that you wanted to athletically, what would you tell that little Bella?
Question. Oh my gosh, Jamie. I would probably just tell her to not be discouraged and just keep going. I think there were times probably when I was younger where I was like, oh, this is too hard. I thought it might have been too hard, or this is too much. But it's just get better, get a little bit better every day. I don't need to get. I think when I was younger, I put a lot of pressure on myself of I need to be LeBron James by tomorrow, and it was and I think just telling my younger self just get 1% better every day, and I think it would take a lot of pressure off myself, and I think it's just crazy to see how this journey has been, and it's been crazy. I can't believe it's almost over. It's wild, but it's been cool. Yeah,
I've had to adjust my phrase. It used to be 4 years can go by in the blink of an eye. Now it's 5 years can go by in the blink of an eye. But it really does. Mm-hmm. It seems like it was just yesterday that you were, you were sitting on the bench waiting for that moment that Maya needed a rest, and you guys are
please foul. No, like that's awful. I obviously wanted her to, I was so happy to see her, but it is crazy to see how time has just flown by.
Well, it's been a fun conversation today, and I can't believe that it's been 20 years since the Sweet 16 run was happening.
Crazy.
And it does seem like deja vu all over again as far as this. It was a little different back then. It was, you made NCAA tournaments and you got close to winning a game and you never could quite get over the hump. And then your senior year, not only you got over the hump, but you got over 2 humps at the same time. And with this year's team, it's more like you kept getting to a championship game and you couldn't quite get over the hump. And then now you have. Well, you might as well get over 3 humps at the same time. Just keep going and win a national championship. How many humps would that be? I think
it's a lot of humps.
7 humps or something like that. That's a big camel. But, keep her going. And we wish you guys nothing but the best the rest of this run.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with more of the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show right after this.
What's important isn't that Freedom First has been in business since 1956. What's important is how we've been doing business since 1956. Since day one, we have been accountable to our members, not stockholders. We make loans that cost less, offer savings plans that pay more, and give back to our community, and that hasn't changed. What has changed is our ability to serve you with more locations and more technology to simplify your financial life. Freedom First. It's a place where anyone in our region can bank for good.
Lynchburg Nissan is jumping into March Madness with full court press savings. Right now, save $6,100 off MSRP. Lock in rates as low as 2.39% and get up to 130% of fair KBB value for your trade. And because we believe in driving with confidence, every new Nissan comes with our 1,000,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's peace of mind for the road ahead. Don't miss these slam dunk deals. Visit Lynchburg Nissan today or shop online anytime at lynchburgnissan.com. Home of the 1,000,000-mile warranty.
You're listening to the Liberty Women's Basketball Show, presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Today's show will continue after this 1-minute timeout on the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Turn up the heat. Foster Fuels is a proud partner of Liberty Athletics. Fostering warm moments for 100 years, Foster has been providing exceptional propane and gas services throughout Central Virginia and surrounding areas. From propane to fireplaces and tank installs to tankless water heaters, Foster does it all. Visit fosterfuels.com or download the app to order fuel, pay your bill, and more. Get the customer service you deserve and turn up the heat with Foster Fuels and the Liberty Flames.
Earthlight Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. With a focus on honesty, education, and excellence, they light the way to savings, home comfort, and a greener future. Educating homeowners about the power of solar and energy efficiency is their winning game plan. Give Earthlight Mid-Atlantic a call today at 434-200-9716 or visit erepower.com.
Welcome back into this week's Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show. We're now joined by head coach Carey Green. Coach, welcome in.
Thank you, Jamie.
It's an exciting. It's anytime you can have an extra show. So when we were looking at the season, had the calendar kind of placed out, and you go, all right, well, we're going to have 14 shows or whatever it is, and go, well, we might have an extra show. And here's a show that wasn't technically planned because you don't know for sure. And it's a wonderful surprise that we get to have a 15th show this season, because it means you won the Conference USA Championship. You're going to the NCAA tournament. And before we get to any details of all of that, just the thought in that moment when Liz pulls that rebound down, and what a perfect celebration at the end. She dribbles it across half court and spikes it like a football up into the rafters. Right. Just a great moment.
Yeah, it's an exciting time that, we really appreciate. It's a blessed time, and to celebrate with this culture, with these young ladies, is just a special moment, and we're certainly want to give God the glory for this opportunity. And Jamie, we're not gone fishing. You know what that means. we got some work to do. We're excited to be in the NCAA playing a great opponent, Kentucky, and they have really a talented team. And unfortunately, we have to play them at their place, but we'll be prepared as much as we can, and we believe in our group of ladies, and we'll come and ready to take care of business.
And I know you're not in the practice of making excuses. It would have been easy, though, because there were a lot of things going against you last week at Conference USA. Illness going through the team, Emma Hess. It was like almost, I don't know if we quite say it was the Jordan game when he had the flu and came out and scored 40 points, but she had to play through a lot, and there were other girls on the team too that were not 100% pretty much that whole week, but you wouldn't know it by the effort they put out on the court.
Yeah, I'm real proud of that effort, and some of them were challenges. Some of them missed practice because they might have been contagious. They were running fevers, and we fought through that. And I think it's fortunate that was a setback, but they fought through. So that shows you their character. We had a great doctor, and Laura Macuso is working with our players and trying to stay on top of things. And it wasn't one of those flus or those fevers that lasted for 3 weeks or 3 days. It was less than 24 hours, and we fought through it. And fortunately, it didn't spread. I mean, it got into 3 or 4 players, but their resilient effort was certainly appreciated by all, and I don't think you can keep somebody like Emma Hess off the court. She'd be playing with fever, and but she bounced back pretty quick, and it's because of her training throughout the year. Nutrition and sleep patterns and everything. She was in a position to recover quickly, and I think the number 1 seed helped us out a lot too.
All season, you guys have had one of the top benches in the country, minute-wise and productivity-wise. And you go, okay, for 31 games, you worked to that point to where you get to the championship game, and you felt like if somebody needed to go 40 minutes, they could go 40 minutes. And we saw Jordan Hodges get a ton of minutes in that game. But it kind of was a work in progress the whole season to get to the point to where you could say, if we need that, we got it. There might not be a tomorrow, so leave it all out on the court, and they certainly did.
Yeah. You're talking about Liz. Liz had been getting in some foul trouble, and she was one of those that were set back a little bit, having some illness. And Ping stepped in and fit a perfect role. And we win together, we lose together, and we've been winning together quite a bit recently because the effectiveness of everybody that goes to the court, and sometimes foul trouble. And Bella's been in that situation or foul trouble, and it was time for her to step up, and they all stepped up to be a champion.
And this is no knock on the way other programs do things, but it was kind of the absolute opposite approach is what Middle Tennessee has. Sometimes you just got to play the cards you're dealt, but they pretty much just played their starters. Maybe a 6th player would get 15 minutes a game or something like that. And it seemed like that certainly was advantageous in that championship game. You guys seemed like you had fresh legs the entire ball game right down to the end, and it certainly wasn't easy. Middle Tennessee made a run, got it down to a 1-possession game. They had the basketball, and then eventually it got into Emma Hess's hands, and she seems to like to have the ball in big moments. If I remember right, she hit a pretty big shot against Florida Gulf Coast a couple years ago as well. So she is not going to shy away from those moments.
No, she's a great shooter. You probably can reflect back at NC State. We were playing a pretty good game there, and I think she shot one from half court at the buzzer I think at halftime. Made that one, and she has made some big plays. And not only the 3-pointer, she sort of iced the game on the free throw line. And it was her time. She had paid her dues, and opportunity came, and she was money in the bank there. She did an excellent job. And you mentioned Jordan Hodges. Yeah, it was time to ride the little general there as far as we could, and she's a champion. She played for Larry Starr in high school, and he's an excellent coach at Monacan, and had a couple of state championships under her belt and MVP, and so she's a high-quality leader, and she really showed it. We needed her to step up, and it was her time.
8 rebounds as well.
Oh, yeah. I think she was second in rebounding behind Bella, so here's the shortest and the tallest on the court, and they're fighting for who's going to be the rebounding champion, and no, she was she just led us and then did a great job at that pivotal leading point guard position.
And we look on the wall behind us, players from the past, 2012. There's pictures around the building from, it goes back to the 90s even, but as far as 2018, that last championship team that went down to Tennessee and played in the NCAA tournament. There's so much history with this program. How does this one rank? Because there has been a little bit of a gap since the last championship. Does it make this one just a little bit sweeter?
Well, they're all sweet. Okay, it never grows old, and with the different players and their own personalities, that makes it all unique and different. And I can't say one is sweeter than the other. I mean, you sit down and let's say you're eating cheesecake. Which bite was the sweetest bite? They're all great and sweet. And missing that opportunity makes you appreciate it more. Sweeter? Nah, they're all sweet. Appreciated? Well, we certainly appreciate this because we just haven't had a date to go dancing, so to speak. And this is going to be fun.
Well, before we let you go, let's talk a little bit about Kentucky. Clearly, very good team in the SEC. They won a lot of basketball games this season. They got a lot of talent on that roster. Kenny Brooks is the head coach. You are very familiar with Kenny Brooks. Goes back to his days of coaching at JMU and then at Virginia Tech. Matter of fact, the last time we saw Kenny, they were walking off the court and you guys were celebrating. Your team was throwing water bottles on you in the locker room because of the big win against the Hokies a few years back. And I know things change and rosters change and evolve, but coaches have similar patterns. That doesn't mean that over time they can't maybe play a little more zone or a little less this or trap a little more or do some things differently, but there's still kind of a core knowledge of a coach. And so there's not going to be a whole lot of secrets when these two teams match up on Friday.
No, well, that's everything you said is true, but the scouting services and all the materials we got, even if you did not know, you would learn real quick. And even if you knew, hey, this coach is going to do this all the time, he's a zone coach, and he's been zone for 20 years, but he may not be playing zone. So you go back to your resources. He's going to know our plays. We're going to know his plays. And what you can't assimilate is the personality and the characteristics of each player. Yeah, that's a three-point shooter, but you don't realize, man, that's pretty deep, and she's got a quick trigger. And that's what happens when you're in the conference grind, especially conference tournament grind. I can't remember. I know Oklahoma knocked them out, but I can't remember how they went head-to-head. So I know that was a 4-5 matchup, so it's always a tough game there. And I watched that game and reviewed it and things like that. And for the most part, Kentucky was leading. And Oklahoma just sort of stole it at the end. And I also watched Kentucky play against South Carolina, and that was a very close game, not indicated by the final score, but we're talking about the fourth quarter. It was Kentucky's right there, either tied, I know it was tied, or even had the lead, or it was like 1 point back and forth right there until South Carolina just sort of separated at the end. So that's what, as an indicator, what kind of team we're going to be playing against. Well coached, some great players, and a team that can compete. And Kenny has at Virginia Tech, Final Four top caliber, and he's got that type of talent there at Kentucky. And we have to play an A game. But that's what you do this time of year. And you practice to get to this point and get all your butterflies to fly in formation, and chill out and play with your best efforts possible.
You mentioned the talent there, and some of that talent from Virginia Tech is now at Kentucky, and Georgia Amoore right at the top of that list. It feels like she's played college basketball for about a decade, but then I'm sure that there's teams that would say the same thing about Bella and say it's about time for her to graduate too. But the players are going to be familiar with each other. Some of them have already played in the past.
Yeah, Strack was, I think, a freshman there, and she is their second leading scorer. Kenny has done a good job on a transfer portal and recruiting, and he's got some valuable players there. And, their starting five, they're right at, every one of them's around 10 points a game, and except for Amoore's right there at the 20 point, and Strack is around the 16. So they're very capable of scoring. Their inside game, they're 3, 4, and 5, are averaging, about 8 rebounds a game. So you're getting about 24. And recently, Strack has been averaging 12 in like the last 5 games. So she's really stepped it up and this time of year. And the others are very talented. And we're not going to have a size advantage because they're like at the 3, they're 6'4". At the 4, they're about 6'3", and inside about 6'4". So rebound is going to be critical for us.
One last quick thing, and I don't want to put any pressure on you, but we talked to Katie and Bella earlier, Katie Mattera, and she said she feels like there's some similarities between this year's team and her Sweet 16 team. So maybe a similar formula to win some NCAA tournament games?
Well, certainly both seedings are equal, and the lead up was for years, like we've had 2 or 3 years, that we're not dancing. And with Katie, we were dancing but not going anywhere. We were one dance and we were going home. So some frustration. Increased desire and anticipation and focus. And as you've seen with our team this year, we've been pretty focused and not all over the world. And both teams have had really good depth because Katie got in some foul trouble, and you had people like KP and Rima and Dinah and the bench. Courtney Watkins coming in and playing really well, and we won as a team, and that's what we've been doing with this team. So both teams are pretty similar. We just wasn't playing Penn State or DePaul on their home court. That's a little different too. So that's a different challenge that we have. A lot of similar scenarios though.
Well, Coach, welcome back to the dance. Get your shoes shined up, and we'll see you up in Lexington on Friday.
Yeah, they were way back in the closet, and I got them out. I had to dust them off, but they still work.
That's right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That was head coach Carey Green. If you'd like to get to Lexington and watch the game, there's a ticket access on the Liberty Flames website. If you want to follow along, of course, the games are going to be on ESPN's networks, but you can also listen on the Liberty Flames Sports Network as well. Again, all that information on libertyflames.com. Until we talk on Friday, this is Jamie Hall saying so long and God bless.
You've been listening to the Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Radio Show with head coach Carey Green. Today's show has been presented by Freedom First Credit Union. Start banking with Freedom First today. The Liberty Flames Women's Basketball Show has also been brought to you by Carter Bank, Life Lived Full, Earthright Mid-Atlantic, your trusted solar and energy efficiency experts. By Foster Fuels, providing reliable service for 100 years. Freedom Heating and Air, serving those who serve us. Carl Miller Realty, caring, competent, trusted advisors. Lynchburg Nissan, nobody beats our prices. Nobody. Century Exteriors, experience and quality you can trust. Schedule a free estimate at centuryexteriors.com. And by Thompson Brooks Insurance, planning today for tomorrow. Liberty Flames Basketball is an exclusive presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.